It's Marco here at the Porter Shop with Brian.
Hey guys, what's going on? So we talked about kind of doing a little bit more. I don't know why I'm holding a guitar pick in my hand, because we just got done recording and stuff. So there you go. Let's get rid of that. So we got to talking kind of about our Tonecast. So those of you that listen to our podcast called the Tonecast, we have about 40 episodes. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on our site, Podbean, some of the different podcasting sites. Go ahead and give that a listen. We've been doing that for a little while, but we haven't done a lot. Again, it seems like every fall we sort of get into the mode of preparing for next year and doing all this other stuff. So we haven't really done a lot of blog stuff, but podcast. Why did I say blog?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, we're just going live, as you can see. We're not really going to edit this all that much, which is okay, because we're really wanting to dive into I don't know if it's a touchy subject, but it's a very interesting subject, and we're going to kind of leave it very, very open-ended. We do have definitely some opinions about the subject that we will share, but they are not concrete, set in stone kind of opinions. We're basically just trying to bring this up as something that a gear company always deals with all the time, and even as an artist or a player or whatever. This is something that maybe sharing this from the gear company perspective will give you some different insights into it. So what is it that we're going to be talking about today?
If you haven't guessed, it's the whole endorser-endorsee relationship that a lot of gear companies get kind of wrangled into, because everyone wants their gear. I mean, I would love so much gear, but it's you got to pay for it.
Yeah.
It
So
costs money to make these things.
It's a massive topic, right? So we won't spend probably. We're not going to make this like a regular podcast, like 40 minutes long, but we wanted to talk about that subject. We wanted to kind of share it from our perspective, and then some things that we've seen that have worked well coming from when an artist approaches us or when a player approaches us. The way that they approach us actually is like refreshing in some ways. And so we'll start right off the bat with saying it is difficult for me as the company owner, and even you as working here. Someone emails us and says, "Hey, give me some free stuff," without anything else kind of attached to it. It's really, it's almost discouraging in a way, because obviously this is our business. This is our, our livelihood, essentially, trying to support families and do this for a living, basically. So if we get asked for free stuff, it's kind of tricky, because obviously we're not a charity, we can't give free stuff. And oftentimes I get kind of maybe frustrated in a sense, because you're like, well, I just paid out all this money, and then a guy emails me and wants something for free. And then oftentimes lately, a lot of people have been getting angry when we say no. We try to politely answer every email that comes in, but we can tell kind of when someone's just basically trying to get something for free. They offer things like exposure, or I'll tell all my friends, I'll my band plays here and here and here. And I love that. I love how people use this stuff, but a lot of people are willing to just go to the site and pay full price, buy the pickups, and they still tell their friends and things like that. So coming from the gear company's perspective, it's very interesting. I know that a lot of friends in the gear industry will blow off requests like that, and they won't reply to them. And I don't know if that's maybe the best approach or not, but sometimes, it's a little, coming from this angle, it's a little frustrating. And so maybe you can talk about kind of the way you've seen it approached, that is maybe, I don't know how to say it, but maybe more the right way to ask a company, or the right way to even bring up the subject.
Yeah, I think that if you really believe in whatever company you're trying to get endorsed by, if you kind of have to make yourself like a business, and make yourself look good. And it's like, well, I'm like, here's all the shows I played in the last 6 months, and here's what my next 6 months are going to look like. And I've been using this stuff for however long, and it just has to look like a good business move for the gear company involved. And they want to give it to you in hopes that they really are going to see something back from it, not just get it out there and get exposure, because that exposure is everywhere in this day and age with the internet, and everyone just knows about everything in gear magazines and websites. So it's like, exposure is out there. Stuff is going to get seen by people, but the difference between whether or not you really love this product, and whether the gear owner or whatever will see that you are really, really standing behind this product and everything. So I think it's just, you really have to make yourself look good, and, you know, the people that really believe in the product will pay for it. I mean, maybe the thing to talk about is maybe like a little bit of a discount if you're buying, you know, in our instance, like 4 sets or you know, a couple guitars or something. It's like, then it's a little easier to I think, to talk about that subject and kind of approach that, because, you know, the quantity and everything it just makes a bigger difference.
Maybe offsets it, yeah. I think for us too, it's always been we've never had an official, you know, someone will email and say, what is your stance on artists, or do you have an artist relations form or package or anything like that? There's a lot of different terms that they use, and
like
people,
requirements.
Yeah. So and that's always tricky for us, because we feel like we're doing American Idol or something like that.
Yeah.
We're going through this list and be like, oh yeah, this guy should get this much off a set, and this guy should get this much off a set, and that just is time consuming for one, and then it's very difficult to actually, you know, pick through that stuff, and it feels weird if you're giving it, you know, 10% to this guy and 20% to this guy and that kind of stuff. And so really, a lot of companies that I've talked to, there's like, this is what it is. No one's ever gotten free whatever.
Yeah. It's hardly ever free, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
You never.
Sometimes it is
can't
though,
pay nothing.
because some people would do that. That's their marketing, is that if they can get it into as many people's hands. And I totally understand that now that we're getting into the guitars and things like that. It's got to be seen. It's got to be, you know, in the hands of an influencer or whatever. But it also is like, you know, how do you navigate that? There's that, like I said before, it's that time thing. That's really the biggest thing. I'm running a small crew and a small business. It's like, I don't want to weed through this many endorsement inquiries, or, you know, hey Marco, have you heard of this band? You know, if you heard of this band, maybe we'll talk. You know, and so I think the most refreshing thing for me probably has been when an artist is like, you know, they mentioned, yeah, I play with this guy, and I was like, oh well, you know, I've heard of them, and or big bands or whatever, but they're like, tell me how much, because I feel like sometimes the artists that are out there and touring and playing all the time, making a living doing it, they understand that is their business and that's how they make their living, and so they relate that to what we do. Okay, I better play, you know, I'll pay full price. You know, I know you guys are building a good product, and I know I'm gonna like it, and I want to have this relationship, but it's very much like, I understand you need to put food on the table, and you need to buy wire and parts and all that stuff. And so really, like, this is a very kind of, for us, kind of an open-ended conversation. Like I said, we really have not set a standard for artist relations. We have a lot of artists who use our pickups. We don't really have a artist section on the site either. It's basically just been a
word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth, and even there's people I find out that play our pickups that are in touring bands. I'm like, oh wow, that's really neat, you know. So I'd be curious, you know, if you guys would like to leave some comments kind of on this subject. Again, we've tried to keep it very, very open-ended and not, you know, we kind of have hinted at some of our stance on the artist thing, but if you have some comments on how maybe you think that it would be beneficial for a company to do this, or companies even that you think have done it well, and what they do to kind of cater to the artists, things like that. Because it really is like, it's nice when your stuff gets played on records and on stage and you know,
Super Bowl halftime.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's obviously, those are all good, but then for us as a company, we have to say, you know, if we discount or if we do whatever, we have to make sure that we're going to return, because that's almost like into the marketing budget. So it's like, okay, if I better sell 2 sets for every 1 set that I discount, or some kind of dynamic like that. So again, leave your thoughts and your comments. We wanted to kind of do a little bit longer video blog on this topic. It's a lot to digest, and thanks for those who have watched this and kind of really, like, I don't know, as we dive into this, like, we really do appreciate, like, your business and your opinion on this subject, because like I said, we have not had an official stance. We've kind of taken it very case by case, I think, and maybe that's not the best way to approach it, but let us know what you think. Let us know if you think that there's a way that this could work beneficially for all parties. If you think, you know, I know some people very hardline, no, we don't give discounts, full price for everyone, and honestly, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
as a gear company trying to sell stuff and make a living is just like, this is what it is.
Yeah, it's like not devaluing your product.
Yeah,
It's like the big thing.
Because sometimes there is people just looking for free stuff. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They're coming to you, they're trying to get something without paying for it. And that is always tough to deal with, you know?
Yeah.
So
There's always those, there's both sides of the spectrum there. I mean, people from all walks.
yeah. So if you're an artist and you want to comment on ways that a relationship has benefited you, if you're a gear company and you're like, yeah, this is how we handle this. We'd love to learn. We'd love to kind of dive into this subject. Again, it's trying to make it kind of non-offensive.
Yeah.
But being honest at the same time is like, this is where we come from as a gear company and that perspective. So thanks for watching so much. We'll do some more of these. If you'd like us to cover some specific subjects or specific pickups, guitar things, that kind of stuff, we're going to be doing a lot more of these and featuring them in newsletters and social media websites and all that stuff. So we'll be back again, I'm sure.
Indeed.
And we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.